you have a space in this world, you have a place here, you should not believe that. My most common emotion must be anxiety or fear. And I tend to also always see all the negative things that could go wrong in my life, though it might not. I often have a fear of failure, a fear of not doing things in a perfect way. It might also comes from my upbringing as a very as the quiet good girl that just does whatever is expected of her. If it's challenging, or I just simply don't know where this could go, where this could end. It could have a good ending or it could have a bad ending, and I tend to always look at the bad ending and be like, that must be my life. And I tend to look at it like, what is the worst case scenario? What are all the scenarios that I could possibly fear? And then it makes it easier to just don't do things. Yeah, I feel like it's also the way that my family used to look at the world, or my parents and how I've seen them look at the world. They've been skeptical of different aspects of life, and that's what also I've adopted into my mindset of being skeptical of the world, but also skeptical about myself and what I can do. I get afraid that they would look at me mostly through that side of anxiousness, that I'm an anxious person more than I am anything else. So it's a great reminder for me to see that sometimes I get so much focus on the anxiety and the problems with that I forget that I am half of the time I'm a complete different person, and it doesn't affect me at all. I feel like Danish people often don't want to give so much of themselves. They tend to be born with a shell. Is that what it's called? A shield? Shield, yeah. They tend to be born with a shield that hides them away from the rest of the world, hides us away from the rest of the world, like what we feel and the most vulnerable emotions we might not be that used to show to the world. I think the thing about wanting to have control over your life, being skeptical of others, and also all these cultures and way of values of way of lifestyle, that's kind of Danish. I feel. Jantelov, where you brought up to think that you are nothing. That is actually a very common saying in Danish, that you should not believe you're something. And that might have affected me in my upbringing, like as a Danish person in Denmark, I should not believe in myself. So also in all of our literature and arts, it has historically been shown or portrayed in that way, that it's feminine to be afraid and it's masculine to be brave. And though I've never really thought about it, I believe that it still has some sort of effect and influence on how I see myself and how I have seen myself as a child growing up in Denmark, with the stories of what is a female and the stories about what is a male. And I could not be that brave because it's just not feminine enough. I'm much more anxious of a person that I show to the world, I think. Not many people get to know exactly how anxious I actually am about a lot of things. But my boyfriend does, so I think it often affects my relationship with him. That he's the one person who has to listen to all my negative thoughts and my fears and my anger towards myself for failure, and also my problems with not being in control. It can affect my whole mood, and he's the one who gets to know that, and he's the one who has to listen to me being super negative and also super negative about myself. I believe when you are a child, children, they don't think that much of failure when they try something new. When they play around, they just play and have fun. And I really much need to go back to my inner child and just play around and have fun and not be afraid to fail. And that's what I am trying to do and trying to learn here.